This episode of Test Drive is made possible by RateMyEV.com.
One thing I always appreciate as an automotive reviewer and enthusiast is consistency, and that's exactly what BMW has been doing in the electric space for quite some time now. Not only have they been making consistently good electric vehicles, they've also consistently beaten my expectations. All the way back when I first drove the BMW i3 range extender, it was a vehicle that really took me by surprise. And here we are, several years later, looking at the BMW iX xDrive60 for 2026. This vehicle is a mid-size electric SUV. We're going to be going over all the different things that have changed for this model year, as it is a facelift, and everything else you need to know if you're in the market for just north of $120,000 for a very well-equipped mid-size electric SUV. And we're going to talk about how it compares to the only other one we've driven in this segment, the Cadillac LYRIQ. So let's get started. So for 2026, the BMW iX comes in three different variants. The xDrive45, now with 502 kilometers of range, giving you 408 horsepower and 700 pound-feet of torque from the dual-motor xDrive all-wheel drive setup. Our xDrive60, the mid-range, about 586 kilometers of all-electric range, 544 horsepower, and 765 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you wanted to go to the M70 xDrive, the M Performance variant, 659 horsepower, 1,015 pound-feet of torque. You do lose range. Obviously, it's more powerful, 486 kilometers of range based on North American testing. And if I were in the market for this, I would go for this xDrive60 because it really does give you all of the range and power that you would really need out of a daily driver. Using a 109.1 usable kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery, you have AC charging up to 22 kilowatts, which is great, and then DC fast charging up to 200 kilowatts. I would have liked to see that a little bit better, just to future-proof the vehicle a little bit more, but I haven't tested anything that goes higher than even 180 kilowatts at a level 3 charger, so while it would be nice on paper, so far I haven't tested it in the real world. Now, BMW says that their new high-energy density, high-voltage batteries paired with the use of silicon carbide semiconductor components helps to create a higher efficiency of energy transfer from the battery pack to the motors. Now, that helped us achieve 20.4 kilowatt hours on our new 100-kilometer test loop, giving us a new benchmark to be able to test these vehicles at, but we've always been thoroughly impressed with how efficient BMW's electric vehicles have been on any of our testing. Now, new for 2026 is the M Sport package with updated front and rear bumpers. We also have new wheels, including these 22-inch Aero wheels. They're style 1027 M rims. I think they look really cool. Gives it a nice contrast with our more champagne color for the exterior of this vehicle. We also have new headlights that include vertical daytime running lights and a new kidney grille. Ours happens to be illuminated based on the packaging that we have. We also have the M Sport Pro package, which adds the shadow line lights both to the front and the back, black exterior contents, and the red brake calipers. Now, as always, when we're featuring a BMW, there are a number of packages and options that you can get to make this car your own. We have the Premium Enhanced package that adds soft closed doors, ventilated front seats, heated front and rear seats, adaptive LED lighting, and more. We also have the Dynamic Handling package that adds the integral active four-wheel steering so the rear wheels will turn, as well as the adaptive two-axle air suspension. We have the Advanced Driver Assistance package giving us Driving Assistant Pro, Highway Assistant, and the Active Lane Change System. And then finally, the only other option that we have on this is the Bowers & Wilkins 4D surround sound system. We've tested it on vehicles like the i7. Really worth it. If you're going to buy this, you want to keep it for a few years, and you love music, you have to get these speakers. They are phenomenal. Last thing I want to talk about is the trunk. Two things actually about it. Number one, you'll notice as I open it up, the entire rear of the trunk opens up. My first thought was, how does BMW get around those US safety regulations where the taillights need to be visible? Well, they've added a second set of taillights on the inside, much like the Buick Cascadia, so that if you are driving with the trunk open because you've got a large piece of furniture or whatever sticking out, you're still safety compliant. But aside from that, the rear is huge, plenty of space, not quite as big as, say, the Cadillac LYRIQ, but the storage area underneath the floor, you can lift it up, is very deep. Not only will you be able to fit your EV SE, but you can put quite a bit of other stuff in that floor as well, giving you a lot more cargo space. So if you're going on vacation, you can throw a lot of bags in there, Not going to have any issues whatsoever. All right, my friends, we're on the road now in the 2026 BMW iX xDrive60. We've already talked about our energy efficiency numbers. We're using a new test loop, so I can't really compare it to the LYRIQ, but it was a little bit more efficient than the old test loop, but they're not really dollar to dollar numbers, so I'm not really going to quote that, but it kind of gives you an idea. BMW has been very good when it comes to their overall energy efficiency. I've been thoroughly impressed, both with the i5 and i7 that we did. Even the i3, when I did it many years ago, I was quite blown away by it. It was a vehicle I really just said, no, zero interest in this thing, and then I drove it. It's pretty impressive. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about how BMW's electric vehicles perform on a longer basis, you got to check out the video that we did on the 2024 i7 M70. We did that last year, did a road trip to Quebec. It was one of the best road trips we've ever done with an electric vehicle. It was just absolutely great, both for efficiency and comfort and cost. Cost less, next to nothing for us to do that trip. And I would imagine this would be pretty similar, because right now, I'm currently in efficient mode, 100% or 99% battery, and I am at 587 kilometers of range. However, when I picked it up, it was like 650 was what it was telling me. I do a lot of highway, right? Most people, especially a lot of the journalists in the GTA, they're going to be doing a lot of city stuff, so you're getting a lot of regen, you're going to maximize your overall range. But as a highway commuter, I mean, even at 586, there's really no concern to run out. I was able to come all the way home, which is 300 kilometers now for me to go single direction, and I still had like 45% battery left. Like, it was really good. So overall energy efficiency has been great on this vehicle. But that's the thing, I only have the vehicle for a week. I can only drive it. This is a long weekend, so I get it for an extra day. But I only have it for a week. If you really want to know how these vehicles are on a long-term basis and really need to know if this is a vehicle that you should either lease or buy or whatever, you got to check out our sponsor, RateMyEV.com. Not only as an owner can you place your thoughts about the vehicle that you've owned or leased or had in the past when it comes to an electric vehicle, you can also find out more if you're in the market for buying one. That's what we always say here on Test Drive. Knowledge is power, and the more information you can get before you make a big purchase like this, the better. So RateMyEV.com has a plethora of information from real-world owners who've taken the plunge into these electric vehicles and giving feedback based on all sorts of things: range, efficiency, winter performance, interior space, problems with it. Have you had to go in for recalls? Do you have issues with it? Or is there noise rattling? Things like that. Important things that we as journalists just can't find out only driving it for 7 days. So big thanks to RateMyEV.com for sponsoring this video and our electric vehicle coverage here on Test Drive. And we hope that it helps you make a better informed decision about your next electric vehicle purchase. How does it compare to the Cadillac, though? Right? The Cadillac, kind of same idea. I'd say it's longer, shorter vehicle, whereas this is a little bit more SUV. It's got more of the SUV dimensions. BMW wants this to be kind of like an X5 electric replacement, and I'd say it's a little bit smaller than that. It doesn't quite feel, especially the trunk area, doesn't quite feel as big as an X5, but the overall interior space does feel pretty good, and it's pretty comparable to the LYRIQ, especially the seats. I was quite surprised. You'd think these more sport-oriented seats wouldn't be quite as comfortable, but there's so much padding on the bottom, just like there is on the LYRIQ, that I'm quite comfortable. Plus, massaging seats, a couple different modes for it, very good. I like that. So comfort's great, visibility is really good too. Panoramic sunroof, we can frost it, sort of like we saw on the Volkswagen ID Buzz, although this one doesn't frost quite as much. So it's an open sunroof in the sense that there's no shade. It's either there or you frost it. So if you don't like having sunroofs, maybe consider that before you make any purchases. But overall interior space is good. I sat in the back seats to film the B-roll and everything. I was comfortable, had plenty of legroom, plenty of headroom, and I think that on a road trip it would be no problems whatsoever for adults to be able to sit back there. Maybe not 3 of them, but 2 for sure, no problems. Now, we've been driving around here in efficient mode. There are a couple my modes. I haven't even set up the personal one because I don't need it, but just for fun, let's try out sport mode. I haven't actually done this on this car yet. So let's see. If we bring it down to a stop, all my stuff in the back is going to fly. Holy Christ. That's quick. Oh yeah, up to 100. Oh yeah, instant off the line torque. Excellent there. And then, I mean, if you're already at speed and you want to go, like, oh my God, just throws you right back. And you would imagine so, right? Lots of horsepower, lots of torque on this guy. I can only imagine how much faster the M70 would be, but I don't think I would want it. As much as I liked the i7 M70 and I liked the i5 M60, those were great vehicles, just absolutely loved driving them, had the performance that you needed. No, what you really want is something that you're going to get to back and forth to work, to school, whatever it is you're doing, in comfort, in efficiency, with the range that you need, and this is the way to go. Now let's talk a little bit about the interior here, right? We talked about the space and the comfort, but the interior here, for the most part, all covered in a leather material. Because it's an electric, you're going to be using more sustainable materials in here, but it's quite comfortable. Good, I'd say good quality overall. Nothing to complain about. Yes, we've removed a lot of the buttons, put them into iDrive, but iDrive is one of, if not the best infotainment system on the market. So I can kind of live with it. Works well enough. I haven't had any issues. Wireless Apple CarPlay and all that great stuff. The BMW Connected app has worked as well, giving you an idea of charging and unlock and lock the car, things like that. I'd say my only sort of negative point here is the center console, and specifically where the cup holders are. They are kind of low, and not only are they low, but then you've also got this little bit of a bulge here where you can put your phone, you can run the cable through the top of it, and then have your phone sit here. It takes up a little bit of extra space, like 1.5 inches, and then just getting your cups, it's just out of reach, right? I mean, you got to really go down to grab it. I don't know. I don't need the phone holder. If you've got a newer phone, or you're not like me and your wireless phone charger is broken, you can use the wireless charging pad on the bottom. So I don't need this part. So I would have preferred to have the cup holders up here and then have the bottom part for large item storage. If you've got a purse or bag or something, or you went to go pick up the mail, you have a little package you want to put there. That would have been better for me. Cup holders, easily accessible. I also don't really need the openness here because I'm never going to slide across to the passenger seat. So whether or not this is open or not, to me, doesn't make a difference. So just a couple small things like that. So overall, interior, I'm like 95% satisfied about. And then the speaker system, like I said, outside, Bowers & Wilkins 4D surround sound system, absolutely sounds phenomenal. I love it. You get the bass and everything in your seat, so you're feeling the music as you're driving along. I love it. Easily the first option I would select, if available on any vehicle. You gotta have it. Now, exterior design, I mean, I like it. I wasn't sold on it at first when I first saw the vehicle, and kind of was announced, and I thought, okay, it's a bit of a funky design, right? Because it's not quite an X5, right? Just like the LYRIQ is kind of its own shape. So is this, and especially that rear end. Like I wasn't 100% sold on it. I think the M Sport package kind of helps to smooth out some of the edges of the vehicle, gives it a little bit more of a sporty look. So I would go for the M Sport package on this vehicle every single time, and then the M Sport Pro adds those little extra bits to it. I might skip that one, just save a little bit of money on it. But I mean, at $122,000 Canadian, it is a little pricey. And I mean, the starting price of this is more than the Cadillac LYRIQ, and the Cadillac LYRIQ Sport 3 that we drove is effectively as fully loaded as you can get. Now, performance-wise, this has more power and it's got more range. It's also got a bigger battery, right? So you're trading off those things, right? Depends on what's more important to you. Do you do a lot of driving? This might be the way to go. Do you want to fit more people kind of more upright and have a little bit more kind of vertical cargo space? Then again, this might be the way to go. But I think, after driving this for a couple days now, for about a week, and driving the LYRIQ many times before, I'd say that the LYRIQ is still the one that I would go with personally. Price, big differentiator between the two. You get a fully loaded LYRIQ for the entry-level xDrive60 base price, so huge difference there. But then I don't know, I like the look of the Cadillac a little bit more. I don't hate this, but I think the Cadillac just does it a little bit better, and it works a little bit more for my tastes. Would the LYRIQ fit in my garage, though? I would have to find out. My garage now, great size for a vehicle like this. I can open up the trunk and everything, so it's a good size to be able to get in and out and groceries and whatnot. But I just think for me, I'd lean towards the LYRIQ. But BMW has done such a great job over the last several years when it comes to their electric vehicles. When you're comparing BMW to the other luxury electric vehicle makers out there, Volvo, Genesis, Mercedes-Benz, Cadillac, those are the ones that have something in this segment. Jaguar, we're not really sure what they're doing anymore. They're going to maybe be coming out with some vehicles, who knows? But when you're comparing it to those, BMW comes out on top when it comes to overall range and efficiency. I mean, it's almost magical how efficient they make their electric vehicles compared to the rest. I mean, I'm still blown away by how good the i7 M70 was. So if you're looking for that, that's the way to go. And I think that because BMW has that advantage, it will only get better for them as they continue to refine their technology and continue to improve the overall experiences. They will set themselves ahead. It's no question I would buy this over a Mercedes-Benz EQE SUV. That thing is a joke. This at least looks a little bit more like a BMW SUV. It drives like one, handles pretty well. I mean, a little bit of body roll here and there, but the integral active steering makes it very sharp around corners, as well as the air suspension gives you just a little bit more ride comfort. So you're getting all the features, all the tech, and everything that you really want. This vehicle isn't technically missing anything. Like I said, I would probably omit just like one or two of the options just to save a little bit on price, but you're not really missing any of the features that you would want out of this vehicle. So I've been thoroughly impressed with it. The only other thing I would say, again, if you're going to lease it for a few years, who cares? But I would like to see a higher capacity DC fast charger. Have that ability. Also have the ability to turn off all the other air vents. Driver only. We're in efficient mode here. There's nothing like that, right? I can sync. I can go into individual settings. Yeah, I can do all sorts of stuff here, but sometimes I just want to have driver only. Because even though the efficiency on these vehicles is so good now that the HVAC systems barely impact your range, it still does make a bit of a difference. So if I can save a little bit, why not? So a couple little things like that. But overall, this has been a good vehicle. This has been a good week to be able to drive this around. I have been very comfortable and impressed with it. I like it quite a bit. So good job, BMW. I'm curious to see how the rest of your iX lineup of vehicles will be. iX3, iX5, things like that, as they start coming out and hitting our market here, because I think that a midsize SUV is great for a lot of people, but compact, still a lot of demand. And there's not a lot of choice right now in that segment for the luxury space. So curious to see what is next for BMW, but great job. Facelift, excellent. And the overall vehicle has impressed me quite a bit. Now, as always, if you want to know a little bit more, if you have any questions about this vehicle or anything that we're doing here on Test Drive, please let me know, and we will get back to you as quickly as possible. We always appreciate hearing from you. We appreciate even more if you do subscribe to the channel, as we would like to see those numbers. So please give us a subscribe if you haven't done so already. But until next time, take care.